We now welcome a friend and colleague, Omer Lachmanovitch, Editor-in-Chief of Israel Hayom. We're in a conversation with journalist Tal Heinrich.
Hello, Omer.
Hello, how are you doing?
So, in its early years, Israel Hayom, a newspaper, it was slammed by the center-left in Israel for being allegedly a right-wing newspaper, supportive of Prime Minister Netanyahu to the extent that there was a legislative attempt in the Knesset, the Israeli parliament, to ban it. But in recent years, I think we can say that the same newspaper has been slammed by the right wing in Israel. How come? How can you explain, and where does the editorial line pass?
Well, first of all, thank you, Dudi and Dudu, for the hospitality and for the partnership. Well, I've been in Israel since the beginning, since 2007, since the establishment. And Israel Hayom established as an alternative for the existing media was at that time there wasn't any platform for right-wing and conservative voices, and I think Israel Hayom changed it and ironically those media entity who champion the freedom of speech tried to prevent Israel Hayom distribution by law. Happily, this law wasn't approved in the Knesset, of course. And over the years, I think Israel Hayom matured and developed and expand the variety of topics and opinions, but still remain the core of values that he has. And Israel Hayom has 5 principles. I call it the Constitution of Israel Hayom. The State of Israel doesn't have a constitution, but Israel Hayom have. And the 5th principle is remember that we are Israelis. So I think we are remembering every day that we are Israelis, and we are cover the reality in Israel through the point of view of Israeli interest. They used to call us Bibiton. So I think that Israel Hayom is the most objective and fair media entity related to Netanyahu, because Haaretz and Yediot Ahronot and maybe all of the mainstream channels and TV will find good reason to attack Netanyahu every day about anything, and Channel 14 will find a good reason to defend Netanyahu every day. And Israel Hayom is relating to Netanyahu through his acts. For example, today the government approved 4 Nahal settlements in the border of Israel to the strength of Israeli security. This is a good thing. We will have positive coverage about it. I hope there will be another 22 towns in Judah and Samaria approved in the near future. So this is a positive coverage of us. But if Netanyahu is dragging his legs in the war in Gaza, so we will have a critique about him. So we are not in Netanyahu pocket. We're not in Gantz or Bennett pocket. We're not in Ben Gvir pocket. We are in the pocket of the state of Israel and the Jewish people.
So the October 7th attack has changed the discussion in Israel over media, its responsibility, its purpose, especially during war. It's also the first time that Israel has been going through a war, and there's a right-wing news channel, Channel 14, the first time. first war for that, the Fox News of Israel, if you will. Talk to us about the challenges that your newspaper has been facing since the outbreak of the October 7th war, not only in terms of the competition against other media outlets, but also social media. I know the Telegram, for example, has become a super popular tool for real-time updates and everything that pertains to the war.
Yeah, there is no doubt that they used to call it the first Telegram war, the war in Gaza, but I think it's the second Telegram war because the first one was the war between Russia and Ukraine. But I think during the war and after a few months, we faced a shift that people understood that the Telegram, they have a lot of fake news in Telegram, but also the Telegram profiles of Israeli that covers the war in Gaza are relating on in Arabic sources, especially Palestinian sources, especially Hamas sources in Gaza. So I don't think that Israeli audience should count on it. So we've been faced a shift and going back to the legacy media because we are checking fact, we are a reliable source, and we have a national accountability and responsibility.
Now, another extensive public discussion in Israel is about the relationship between state authorities and journalists and the media. I'm talking about government, military, judicial officials, and the very delicate differences between leaks, public interest, and whistleblowing. How would you characterize this relationship now in the public eye? Because from my perspective, I know that Israeli audiences, readers, TV viewers, just like American ones, by the way, are no longer naive about these connections.
Yeah, there is no doubt that media shouldn't be the player in this field, but there is no doubt that all the authorities and also the public see the media as a player.
Skin in the game.
Yeah, it's skin in the game, and I'm proud to say that maybe the event that took place and was like extreme point that during the Qatargate there were several journalists that police and Shabak ordered to investigation and have a testimony, including one of us, one of our journalists. And I'm proud to say that Israel Hayom, in that day, published an editorial column on the front page, and the headline was freedom of press is under attack. And I think we should care not to be a player in this game, but cover it fairly and balanced.
Very often, unfortunately, during this war, we see foreign media outlets rather, quoting Israeli reports, Israeli outlets about developments in the war. And in many cases, these are not headlines that are in favor of Israel and its actions, its cause in this war. And in fact, sometimes our worst enemies and critics are quoting us to ourselves as a tactic of attacking Israel. One part of this is the fact that Israeli media in English is, you don't have a wide range of available sources. And I know that Israel Hayom has been stepping in, or gradually increasing and stepping into this territory that was very much controlled or very much, popular. I know by Haaretz, they sort of took over this field. Many foreign journalists, that's their go-to website for alleged Hebrew news, but in English.
For sure, we need more patriotic, conservative, right-wing voices from Israel in English media. This is necessary for the Israeli audience in Israel and also for the Jewish in the diaspora. And Israel Hayom has been invested a lot of resources in our English website and also in our English newsletter. we invite you, of course, to register, but this is a call for all our colleagues in the media to have more platforms in English to serve our goals for the security of Israel abroad.
All right, Omer Lachmanovitch, thank you so much for this.
Thank you very
Editor-in-Chief
much.
of Israel Hayom.